Science and medicine grow by leaps and bounds because each generation is building on the knowledge of the generation before, but personal growth is different. We do learn from other people's mistakes to a point, but often we need to learn from our own mistakes to make it stick. Try the ideas in this episode to challenge your growth.
Hello, my friends. Happy summer to you. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, if you're one of my friends listening in the warm weather, I hope that has landed in your area and you're enjoying the extra daylight hours that we have. I'm Kathy Rhodes, and I love and appreciate that you join me every episode. Today we're going to think differently. We're going to think differently about you. But let me tell you a story quick. A story from 1799. I was not alive that year. But Mr. George Washington was, well, kinda, until I think it was December 14th. He died that year. George Washington, for those of you that may not know U.S. history, he was the first president of the United States of America, and he died in 1799. And, well, how he died is just very interesting. There's actually a lot of guesses on how or why he died. So a little bit of the backstory, I actually heard, or I was watching a documentary, and they did such a great job of sharing how he died. It was totally interesting. It had me captivated. So one evening he was out checking his land and checking his animals, and it started raining. He had, clothing on, right? That got wet. But when he came inside, he did not go change out of his wet clothes. He stayed in the wet clothes because he didn't want to be late for dinner. Well, later that night, he woke up and couldn't breathe. He felt like his throat was collapsing. So there's many guesses that he died of a throat infection, even croup or epiglottitis. I hope I said that right. Epiglottitis. Something with the throat. Something to that effect, right? He died of a cold. Maybe we could just say it that way. Well, that evening, as things were kind of closing up for him, the doctors, they all had many different attempts to cure him. And it said that he gargled with a mixture of molasses, vinegar, and butter. Okay, I don't know why or what that would do, but he gargled with that. He inhaled a steam of vinegar and hot water. That I get, right? I can see the value there. His throat was also swabbed with a salve of dried beetles. It was this preparation of dried beetles. Not sure the benefit there. That just kind of grosses me out a little bit. He was also given an enema, and he was also drained of his blood. Now, I'm no medical professional. I can't even pronounce half the words. But if you lose 40% of your blood because they drained it out of him, that may have been what killed him. Well, supposedly that wasn't what killed him. I guess that's not enough to kill you. But bloodletting used to be a thing. Bloodletting is, by definition, it's to rid the body of impure fluids. For whatever reason the impurities happened, they thought that you could cure yourself or cure somebody by just getting rid of the blood. Well, we've learned through the years that we need blood. We definitely need blood, and we don't want to have a shortage of blood. I'm so thankful. I'm so glad that through the years the doctors have learned more about the different cures. Since 1799, they don't practice bloodletting like they did back then, and I don't think they practice the idea of dried beetle swabbing much anymore. I'm so thankful for that. I guess if they're going to swab my throat with dried beetles, just don't tell me that's what it is. Well, I'm not only glad that medicine has learned so much over the last 200 and some years, but they've also documented it. I mean, think about science in general. There's so much amazing documentation that happens when the scientists learn more. They learn why. Medicine, the documentation is phenomenal. And as human beings, we do really well learning from people of the past, right? So the scientists, the medicine, technology. I mean, just look at my lifetime, the cell phone that was not existent when I was younger and now is not even a mobile phone anymore. It's a smartphone. That technology transition or transformation has been phenomenal. Transportation, I think about automobiles, and not only the fact that we have automobiles is a huge feat, but every year they're made better. They're built better based on last year's model. They're fixed based on last year's issues. Even the types of transportation. It's no longer a horse and carriage pulled by horses. Well, that's what a horse and carriage, I guess, really is, right? But it's also airplanes, trains and automobiles. I mean, all of this is now transportation. Construction. We built our house 20 years ago. We built a house, and just the difference in 20 years. I mean, the thought back then was to not put Tyvek around the outside of the house because it kind of closes it in and restricts the airflow. Well, a few years ago we took off the siding and put Tyvek on because it's been redone to be better, and it's just done in a way that doesn't restrict the airflow. So the construction rules have changed and just gotten better. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we learn from each other. I'm so glad that we can build off of another person's research and another person's study. However, there's one thing that we don't learn from others, and that's our own personal growth. We are not good at learning from other people's experiences or mistakes or building off of their mistakes. Now granted, there is a level of growth that does happen, right? We do learn from other people's mistakes to a point. But overall, we still enjoy learning our hard way, our own way, right? We still make mistakes that have been made year after year by generations after generations of people. I get it. We all need to learn our own lessons the hard way so that lesson really sticks. But why do we do this? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why can a leadership book or a personal development book be written 100 years ago and it's still pertinent to every generation of people today? It's because we're not building off of each other. We're not building off of what our parents learned and just getting better through the years. I remember being a teenager and getting one of my mom's preachings. And I remember saying to her, "Mom, just let me learn my lessons my own way. Let me learn my own lessons." Yeah, the stupid wisdom of a teenager. Oh, I've learned my own lessons, and I'm still learning my own lessons. I'm trying to build off of other people's mistakes, but just in our own human way. It's not like it is for a scientist. It's not like it is for a medical professional. And now I am watching adult children, right? I'm a parent. I've been a parent for 30 years, and I'm watching my kids repeat the mistakes that I've made. Whether it's my thought mistakes, my mindset mistakes, my behaviors, my actions, my bad habits. And you know what happens if I try to encourage them or if I try to give them my advice? Well, it's not received and it's not appreciated. So now the learning lesson that I'm learning, that I have seen my mom and dad do, thank you, Mom and Dad. Now my learning lesson is to just be quiet. To just let my kids learn lessons the hard way. Because that's when we learn it. When it's hard, when it hurts, when it affects us emotionally, sometimes even physically, that's when we learn it. We don't learn it by a good book or a good lecture. We learn it when it hits home right here. Now, maybe you're different. Maybe you do avoid learning lessons the hard way. Maybe you build off of other people's mistakes and you're better than your predecessors. And I admire you. Good job. Good job. Well, for everybody else, or even you, maybe once in a while, who wants to learn your own way, who has a little bit more of a stubborn attitude, I get you. But at least create a personal growth plan for yourself. At least put yourself in situations that challenges you to grow, be bigger, and be better. So, I have some questions for you. How are you challenging yourself to continue to learn and grow? How are you documenting your learning lessons so that at least you build off of yourself? At least you build off of your own mistakes and you don't make them again. What's your plan? What's your plan to push forward, to push yourself into areas that may not be overly welcome? And who do you respect? Who do you listen to? Who do you learn from? Create your inner circle with people who are going to challenge you and up-level you, and you will receive what they're saying to you. So do you need an idea to get you started? I got one for you. And if you don't want my idea, my advice, my recommendation, then turn off this episode right now. But if you're curious, I have an idea of where you can start. Go on a technology fast for the next week. A technology fast. And what that means is, it doesn't mean don't use technology, because in today's world, that's just not possible. I need my phone to make phone calls. I need my phone as an alarm clock. I need my computer to connect and do work. And okay, so maybe it's not like totally avoid all technology, but avoid pieces of technology. For example, no social scrolling for the next week. No video scrolling for the next week. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn. Yeah, even LinkedIn. Oh, it's for business. No, none, nothing. No, don't even open the app. No social scrolling, no video scrolling. Here's another one. No binge watching for a whole week. John and I have been on a binge watching habit of watching Big Bang Theory. I love Big Bang Theory. So every night we'll watch an episode or two. Nothing. Turn the TV off. No binge watching, no movies, no nothing. Instead, go find a book. A book that you bought and you want to read, go read it. And choose a new type of book. Not fiction or love story or mystery or horror or whatever you choose. Choose a new kind of book that's going to challenge you. You could even get some honey-do projects done. Those projects that are on the list but we really don't want to do. Maybe it's just daily chores, right? My goal, my personal goal this next week is, before I go to bed, I want to take care of all of the clean laundry. That means it's folded and put away. I want to take care of the dishes. I am loading the dishwasher, running it, and doing all the other dishes by hand. I want to pick up my kitchen, make sure that, just stuff's put away, but also maybe food prepped a little bit, so I'm ready for tomorrow. Those are those everyday chores that I kind of don't always do if I just don't want to. And then finally, go get some fun exercise. Go get some fun exercise. Go for a walk. Go play pickleball. Figure it out. I don't know how to play pickleball, but I think tomorrow morning we're going to the pickleball courts with our new pickleball paddles and probably going to play a form of tennis with our pickleball paddle. Go find some new exercise. And if you're still needing something else to do before bed, then pick up your phone and call a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time just to say hi. There's so many ways we can spend our time than social scrolling or binge watching. After this next week, I would love to hear from you. So then please message me. Let me know how this personal growth challenge has gone for you. And what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next to be bigger and better? To truly be building off of your previous mistakes, to build off of what you've researched and what you've heard works and what you've known will make you better. I hope that today's topic has definitely challenged you to think differently about you, your personal growth. The one thing that every human being needs to hear over and over and over again. My friends, be great today.